Hi, my name is Ken Davis with Performance Air Conditioning of Texas, and I'm here with.
Evan Bachwiig, All Mold Pro.
So, Evan, I've got all kinds of questions for you
Lay 'em
today.
on me, I'm ready.
First of all, can you tell me and the audience what is mold?
Absolutely. So, mold is an organism that is everywhere at all times, indoors, outdoors. It's already in your HVAC. It's everywhere. Mold requires moisture and cellulose to grow. It is the thing that keeps our world from becoming overgrown with trash. It's this thing. It is the great decomposer.
Okay, so you're saying not all mold is bad.
Correct. Some mold is very, very beneficial.
Oh,
Penicillin comes from
okay.
mold.
Well, that's good to know. I think there's a lot of people that have concerns with mold in their house, justifiably so.
Right.
And perhaps some of it is concerns we don't need to be having,
Right.
and there's certainly concerns we do. What conditions do you see in homes that where you get out of control mold growth? Because I think that's what we're kind of worried about.
Right.
Certain types of mold growing out of control.
Right, absolutely. So for context, there's many, many different species. There are toxigenic species, species that produce toxins, which we'll talk more about this later, but the black mold that people are referring to, that particular mold requires a ton of water to grow. So that's not a super common one that's going to be, for instance, in your HVAC. There's generally not enough moisture content in your HVAC for you to have the black mold. And again, we'll talk about more of that later. The conditions that are really worth looking for are water leaks, plumbing events, outside moisture intrusion, big water vents. Those are the things that generally cause the largest amount of mold growth that has the biggest impact. And obviously, there's always some nuance that's required as we need to look at the house. Are we in a 150-year-old pier and beam? Are we in a 2025 new build? Context is always needed.
I've noticed this trend where we just see more mold in houses now.
There's a lot of things going on here. So I would say one of the main things is a cultural awareness. As people have become more sensitized for whatever reason, environment, health, food, they're starting to look more closely. The COVID era really helped people understand that what's in the air matters. So people are looking more.
Mm-hmm.
Building practices have also changed. Long ago, when we were building in the, we'll say, pre building code era, houses could be leaking air, leaking heat. So they were very durable. Things could get wet and they would dry quickly because we were just spending our dollars either heating or cooling, and that energy was going out through the building envelope and drying everything out. So very durable. We are building tighter, so there's less air change. We have more people spending more time indoors, so we're having more humidity issues. We're in climate zone 3B. I think we just changed from 3A to 3B. So we have a very mixed humid climate. So we have all of these things coming together, creating more moisture problems. Building practices also are quick. So we see peaks where building practices were perhaps a little fast. So 90s and 2000s, we would have houses that were kind of just thrown together. And it happens all the time, but generally we're also seeing that occur now where we need housing. And so they're being built quickly, and that's a recipe for poor performance.
Sure, sure. And there's something I've noticed, and I don't know if it's just me or if there's a physiologic reason for it, but it seems like we have more customers that are female complaining of mold than male customers.
Absolutely.
Is there a physiologic reason for that?
Not a doctor. However, what I've observed over the years is, when my wife was pregnant, I remember the dog couldn't even come in the room. Her sense of smell was heightened. So there are physiological reasons for that. And so women are also very acutely attuned to how are my children feeling? How am I feeling? What's going on in the environment I'm in as I'm raising them? I think there's genetic, physical, emotional, across the board, there's differences. So I think the mom instinct to make sure that the environment that my children are being raised in is healthy, I think that's a big driver for this. So I do believe that there are some physiological reasons. I think genetics and hormones play a huge outsized role in that. I think socially, I think that there are more men that are sensitized than they know, but I think the masculine culture in the US, they're less likely to be vocal about it. There's perhaps a shame component about admitting that you don't feel well or going to the doctor. So very often as I'm interviewing clients in the house, maybe the female person in the house is the one that's vocal,
Mm-hmm.
but as I'm interviewing the clients in the household, there's often other things going on. So I think that's perhaps the client base that is brave enough to be vocal and ask questions.
Yeah, I will say I personally witnessed this myself within the last week. where we were looking at a house that had some mold
Yep.
issues in it, and the wife specifically had called us to look at it. However, when I started talking to the husband further, he kind of had actually some of the exact same symptoms.
Yeah,
And
and that's a gender dynamic and a social dynamic that I've observed as well, and that's part of where you and I have the opportunity to go into a house and walk with the clients through that, whatever that dynamic is, good, bad, otherwise, healthy, unhealthy. We get to walk with them and tread gently as we try to get good information from the clients and help educate them on what might be going on in the house.
yeah, I know one of my approaches when I'm talking to people about HVAC air quality issues is generally I walk in and just talk to them for a while and have them kind of free spill
Yep,
their whole
I agree.
story. Do you
I
do
agree.
something
I
similar?
do. My primary goal, especially as a mold consultant, there is so much fear that's, if I'm out there, it's a bad day. They're not calling me to hang out. There's something going on, or they suspect something's going on. So I do the same. I come in and I want them to feel at ease. I greet their pets. I love animals, so I'm greeting the pets. I'm greeting the kids. I'm greeting them, and I generally ask them what's going on. Talk to me about the house. Give me the tour, and I spend quite a bit of time just getting to know them, getting to know the house, and then as we're talking, as they have a chance to relax and tell me what's going on, then they start to remember things. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a tub overflow 10 years ago, or we had our HVAC replaced 5 years ago. And I start to get better information than just a straight questionnaire. So yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, and also on the pets. I'm glad you do
I
that.
love
So
animals.
sometimes people are trying to tell me about their problem, and I'm like, not now. I'm talking to
There's
the
a very
dog.
sweet dog right here.
Yeah, I'm talking to the dog. We'll get to your problem
Right.
next.
Yes,
So okay, well, very good. I'm assuming because I know you do some mold testing
I do a
and,
little
and
bit.
see all kinds of different species of
Yep,
mold.
I
What are
do.
some of the common types and the Stachybotrys or the black
Yes,
mold
the
that people
black
worry
mold.
about? How often do you encounter that?
If I could wipe something from the public consciousness, it's the term the black mold. So different mold species can grow black depending on the substrate, the age. So color alone is not a good indication of severity. However, that's what people have learned. It's kind of in the public knowledge that if it's black, it's a problem. If it's growing around a vent and it's black, it's a problem. If it's under my sink. So the common types that I see, let's zoom out and talk about what we should be concerned about. There's a whole class of heavy water damage mold types, Chaetomium alternaria, Stachybotrys being one of them, Curvularia. That whole class can produce mycotoxins or mold toxins.
Okay.
Those are the ones that have well documented severe health effects. Those are things that, if I have weird autoimmune issues with the client, we're generally looking for mold toxins and looking for those heavy water damage types. That's exterior moisture intrusion, plumbing issues, hidden cavities that have gotten wet. So those are the things that are the big red flags for me. We need to pay very close attention to those. It's not that we don't pay attention to the other mold types, but those are the heavy hitters.
Sure.
The things that we see growing around HVAC vents, things like Cladosporium, to some degree Aspergillus penicillium genus, hyphal the growth structure of molds. That's oftentimes the things that people are looking at around their AC vent, and they're calling us and they're saying, we've got the black mold. And so, is it around your vent? It's probably not that one, but we'd be happy to help you find out what it is.
Sure.
So we see all different types and species and genus of mold in the house. Its location tells me a lot.
All right, thanks for joining us today. My name is Ken Davis with Performance Air Conditioning of Texas. If you have any questions or would like a consult, you can reach us at www.pactx.org or 972-291-9231.
I am Evan with All Mold Pro. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at All Mold Pro. You also can reach out to us at 972-567-7298. We help with mold, mycotoxin, VOC, and mystery illnesses.